became a chiropractor. I chose that license because I wanted to become an applied kinesiologist, which was something that I fell in love with about the same time as a bunch of other things happened in the late 70s. And I grew up in the East Bay in Berkeley, and I was at the time going to a medical doctor who found that my pap smear was not good. And so he explained to me what the circumstances were, and I found in our conversation and his manner with me that he was rough with me and insulting in a lot of ways. So I fired him, and then I fired the insurance company that supported him. And at the time I was studying muscle testing, Touch for Health, which was a forerunner to applied kinesiology, and also I was studying homeopathy. So since I had no MD anymore, I had to decide with this not so good pap smear result what I was going to do about my health care. And so I moved to Ohio to work with a medical doctor who was also a world-renowned homeopath. And we worked together for 2 years, and then the bad pap smear turned from a class 3 to a class 5, and it was in the middle of winter, so she sent to me in the mail the remedy and the diagnosis, the new diagnosis. So I took the remedy, and my girlfriend at the time did not believe in homeopathy. She didn't know what it was, really. So she insisted that I go to see a medical doctor and get a second opinion. I did that, and 3 male doctors examined my vagina. I don't know how many of you had this experience, but it's quite an event. And they all said, they conferred together and said, no, there's no cancer in this vagina. Your medical doctor at home must have made a misdiagnosis. So I took that back to her, and she says, oh, fine, we'll just send the original slide to their lab. They did, and it was obviously cancer in December, no cancer in January, from sugar pills, which are homeopathic. So that caught my attention, and from that I learned that, I cannot rely on conventional medicine to take care of my precious health long term. Just wasn't going to happen. And the other thing was that my best health insurance is my education and my lifestyle. So I went to school and chose a license, went and got it, and showed up in Oakland in 1989, ready to practice natural health care. So that's my story, and we'll come back to little pieces of that as we go. Laura?
So my name is Laura Knopf. I'm a certified nutrition consultant, and I also teach nutrition consulting at Bowman College. And I have a little different life history. Back in 1975, I was a poor chemistry student. I have a bachelor's of science in chemistry, and I couldn't afford meat anymore, so I thought, well, I'll be a vegetarian, but I wanted to do it right. So I looked up all the information I could at the time on how to be a healthy vegetarian. So I started studying nutrition. Turns out I loved nutrition a lot more than I loved chemistry. But fast forward 23 years on a vegetarian diet, and my health was okay, but I was exposed to a lot of chemicals in the laboratory. I was eating a standard American diet, although a vegetarian one. I still ate sugar, I still ate hydrogenated vegetable oils, I still ate, processed foods quite a bit. And my health was slowly deteriorating. I was gaining weight every year like everybody else. I had aches and pains like everybody else. I had sinus infections like everybody else. I thought, oh, this is just normal. Unfortunately, it wasn't quite normal because I did have an exposure at the laboratory, not from what you'd think, but they were re-roofing our building. And they had overheated tar, and they had not turned off the air intake valves on the roof when they were putting, this tar on the roof. So I was inhaling this tar fumes, overheated tar fumes. And after 3 days, my digestion stopped working. Everything I ate went right through me. And it was kind of scary, especially after 3 months when I lost 30 pounds, not in a good way. I went down to 102 pounds. I'm 5'6". I was way too thin. Went to the doctor at the lab. He said, thin but otherwise healthy. And I thought, I don't think so. I have no energy. I can't keep food in. You know, I'm eating 3,000 calories a day and losing weight. Something is seriously wrong here. I don't believe in coincidences because about a month before I had this event, I had started taking classes at Bowman College for nutrition consulting because I knew that I really wasn't into the biochemistry I was doing. So I ended up learning more about how my body worked, what I could do with food to heal myself, to detoxify, to change and to improve my digestive system. Thankfully, with the help of Dr. Margaret and my acupuncturist, things turned around. And after I gave up a lot of the foods I had been eating consistently and switched my diet from a vegetarian, actually I was vegan for 6 months, which was really a bad idea. And then I went to a whole foods, meat and vegetables, lots of vegetables, some meat, some fish, some eggs. It changed my entire physiology. I started gaining weight again, I started gaining muscle, I started healing and feeling normal. It took about 2 years actually to start feeling normal, but it was working. So that propelled me to try to help other people. So I entered as a nutrition consultant with this chemistry background, with this personal experience. So I help people with diet suggestions, looking at their various diets they're on. I analyze diet to make sure they're getting enough nutrients or not too much of something and balance, and help them in that respect. So I work with Dr. Margaret. We have clients in common, and it's been a wonderful situation. Thank you.
So before we sort of the dark side, and then we'll get to the light side, I'd like to talk a little bit about what might be right with the current healthcare model and what's wrong with the current healthcare model. And if you could give me suggestions, that would be great. Does anyone have things that they love about the healthcare model that does for them? I know I do, but I want to hear from you. What do they do really, really well? Crisis care.
Trauma.
Trauma. What else?
Set broken bones.
Yeah, they set broken bones. What else? What's your experience? That's it? Yes?
They give you a lot of prescriptions.
They do. Yeah. So, what do you not like about the current healthcare model?
They give you a lot of prescriptions.
Prescriptions?
It feels like nobody's looking at the whole me. You know, different people have different, somebody sees my eyes and somebody sees my feet and somebody sees,
Right, it's not holistic, it's specialized in different areas, different body parts. Yeah, and what else?
No prevention intention.
Prevention intention is lacking. Right, what else?
They don't consider the spiritual and the psychological.
Exactly, spiritual and psychological are missing, which is so important. What else?
Follow the money.
Follow the money. You got here in the front row. And you, yes?
Their hours of learning nutrition is very minimal.
Yes, I understand it's something like 6 to 8 hours within 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anything else?
Always medication.
Always medication.
And medications to deal with the side effects of other medications.
Right, side effects to deal with other side effects.
They don't partner
They don't partner.
with the person who's not healthy.
Right,
There's no partnership.
right. It kind of sounds like you were all in that room when I fired my doctor for not partnering with me on this issue. My main complaint about the modern medical establishment is that their tools are drugs and surgery, but those tools don't work really well for chronic illness. And it's two different things. I've seen estimates that in a person's lifetime they may need chronic care, 10 to 20% of their health care. And maybe, I don't know, another 30% or so are things that you can do at home, the Band-Aids and the taking care of yourself with the flu and all of those things. And then another 50% really is chronic care, and that's being left out in the current model, I believe. So that was my problem when I found I had cancer. And I was like, wait a minute, this isn't crisis care. I don't want you to just cut out my cervix. No, thank you very much. Let's do something different. And then I realized that if I was going to change my life so that I wouldn't get cancer again, I needed to really study it. And so that's where I went to chiropractic college. And that gave me the license to learn, really. I mean, that was a license so that I could work with many different people and learn from all of us learning together about how to take care of ourselves. It was just the start. And now I've been in practice, oh my gosh, 28 years. It's a long time. So I have a lot of experience at that. And I'm quite healthy, I must tell you. I've had no more cancer and keep getting better. But I should tell you there are layers to this, so that as soon as you finish the most, heal yourself from the most life-threatening illness, then your body says, okay, now I need some attention to this. And so you seem to be following symptoms sometimes. And just when you clear something up, something else seems to crop up. And that's natural. That's normal body language, just to let you know. So another problem I have with it is that they tend to exclude natural healing modalities from the marketplace. And I have an example of this, which was a court case. It got to the federal appellate court in the Chicago region. It was 4 chiropractors who sued 11 defendants. And those 11 defendants included anesthesiologists and physical therapists and the hospital association and you name it, and of course the American Medical Association. Well, it was an antitrust suit, which means that they were illegally dominating the market and giving bad names to people who were not allopaths. And so it was a female who was the judge on this. After 11 years, she found they were all guilty, but 10 of them dropped out. They settled out of court. And the most arrogant of them, the American Medical Association, stayed with it and went down for the count. And so that was 1989, the year I left school. And not a lot has changed. You'll see some medical insurance companies paying for like 6 or 8 or maybe more treatments with a chiropractor per year or acupuncturist. And that's a result of that lawsuit. And but there's still a huge conflict I see every day in my patients between those who they want to follow their medical doctor's orders, conventional medical doctor, because Dr. Supoto and others are unconventional, I must say, because I know his reputation. But we have within us this conflict between the conventional medical model and natural health care model. And some of us get kind of torn up about it, especially with these large diagnoses. We don't quite know what to do. So it's something we need to address, is what I'm saying. And Obamacare doesn't address it. It just goes again to support the allopathic model as far as I can see. So Laura, did you want to say anything here about...
Well, I think one of the failings of our medical model right now is that it doesn't look at the underlying causes of illness. The underlying causes being poor nutrition, lack of movement, sometimes excessive movement, people overdoing it, but also a lack of relaxation and sleep, a lack of spiritual awareness and grounding. All those things are part of our health. And yet they're never mentioned during any kind of medical evaluation. And so what we are trying to do is encourage people, teach people to learn how to take care of themselves on a very basic level, making sure that they're eating healthy, nutritious foods, foods that support their body systems, making sure they're avoiding the kinds of foods that don't, most of which are the sort of things you can get everywhere. It's very rampant to see foods that are very high in sugar, very high in hydrogenated vegetable oils, very high in preservatives and colorings and flavorings and all these things that, well, salt can be good if it's mixed with the other minerals. We all need salt, but we also need a whole bunch of other minerals. And the salt is something that is overdone in processed foods because it preserves the food. Same with sugar. And of course, you know, if something's salty, fatty, or sugary, we like it. We have a natural inclination to go for those foods because they used to be very rare in an environment. You know, food was not always salty, sugary, or fatty. So we sought out those things because we have a salt tooth, a sugar tooth, and a fat tooth desire in our bodies. So those are the kinds of things that are missing. So we want to educate people on what to eat. And I have to say, there's some individual basis for this. So not everyone's going to be on the same kind of diet. Not everyone's digestive system or physiology or time of life requires the same kind of diet. And it's not just what you eat, it's also what you digest. So as we age, unfortunately, our digestion tends to get weaker. We don't actually digest our foods as well. So what we eat has to be digested, and then it has to be absorbed. And after it's absorbed, it has to be metabolized in the liver. And after it's metabolized in the liver, it goes through the circulation to the rest of the body. But if circulation is poor, then those nutrients are not going to get to every cell that needs to have those nutrients. And also, when circulation is poor, waste products are not eliminated and removed from the body when circulation is poor. So that's why movement, gentle movement, or vigorous movement, but just stay moving. I know this is an area for active seniors. Well, you better as well be active because that's a part of the circulatory system and it's a part of keeping you young and healthy. And then, of course, there's sleep. How many of you have insomnia? Don't have a hard time getting to sleep or staying asleep? Staying asleep. It's a common problem. And it has to do with a lot of different things like blood sugar regulation. It has to do with minerals. It has to do with overall health. It's a symptom. And all these little symptoms are just signs. It's your body knocking on the door saying, pay attention to me. Well, you need to do something. So when you have a lot of these little symptoms, it's important to try to get to the root cause. Are you getting enough nutrition? Are you moving around? Are you giving yourself the opportunity to rest? Are you calming yourself down? Do you have the nutrients it needs?
So we come into this world with an innate immune system. How many know what that is? 1, 2, 3, 4 of us. And innate means that it's right there at birth. It's what we've got. We don't have to develop it. It works immediately on our interface with the environment, things that are coming into our body that are going to harm us. The innate immune system is right there working on us. Then as a child, then we develop, we call it a humoral.
Yeah, or learned is good.
A learned adaptive immune system, which learns from the experience of encountering big jobs like measles, right? So when your immune system, when the innate immune system encounters measles for the first time, then this adaptive or learned immune system takes note of it. You will react to it by the innate immune system's actions, but then the second and subsequent encounters of that virus, you will recognize it and immediately jump on it because you're ready for it this time. So we have two kinds of immune system, and that's an important thing to know that, for instance, when you avoid germs, for instance, then you're not being exposed to the very things that you need to learn about so that you can protect your body from ongoing. So that's what that's about. And then I was wanting to just say a moment about the body's language, which are the symptoms. When you suppress them with drugs, then you're not listening to your body. And that's a whole language that had we not had drugs as kids, for instance, over the counter, or mine was Benadryl for my hay fever. If I had not suppressed that, my body would have been able to learn what to do with those pollens, and instead I missed that opportunity. So I've had sinus infections my whole life until just a few years ago when I finally started turning that around. It's a horrible thing. So that's the immune system that my parents suppressed in order to stop the symptoms, and that's, I think, a good example of how that works. Any comments on that? Okay. Well, now I'd like you to imagine for yourselves optimal health. What would that look like? Let's say in 3 months. What would that look like?
I'd have hair again.
All right. You'd have hair again. And,
Does that affect your health?
I don't want hair.
No? It's a good look for you.
So what other ideas do we have?
What does it look
Anything?
like? What does it feel like to be healthy?
Yeah.
Energy
Energy to
exercise,
uh-huh.
move, just be active.
Yeah. Okay. So
Energy to create.
energy to create. I notice coming from the East Bay, how could I miss this beautiful big mountain here, Mount Diablo, its top was in fog. It was beautiful. Might you have grandkids that you'd want to go hiking up there? If your knees and your hips were in good shape, you could take out on a stride with some younger folks and enjoy that and sunshine. So in 3 months will be spring. It'll be sunshine and flowers, hopefully, on Mount Diablo. And maybe that's a place that you could take yourself to. Or maybe with optimal health, you could travel more or do other things that you've wanted to do.
What else besides energy? Means I know I would like less back pain
Less back pain. Ah, all right.
and quit smoking. That would be good.
One of the other things that you need energy for is healing. So when you have a cold, it clears up quickly when you have the energy. If you injure yourself, it heals quickly when you have the energy. But when you can't generate that energy in each and every cell, then it's difficult for those cells to heal themselves, to heal their neighbors. So we need energy all the time. So energy was the perfect answer. Is what we really need is energy. How do we make energy? Do you all know? Yes.
Moderate a good appetite.
A good appetite, that's a sign, that's a symptom that your body is able to digest and is able to use food for making energy. But in each and every cell, we have a whole complex metabolic process, chemical process, that converts the food we eat into active energy in each cell. So keeping each cell healthy is key to keeping the whole body healthy. And as a nutritionist, I like to look at how we nourish ourselves, how we nourish our cells, as well as how we can get rid of toxins. Because that's another thing we use energy for, is to get rid of the garbage we come into contact with all the time. And as we age, we've come into contact with a lot of stuff, I'm sure. And that stuff accumulates. And that's why as we get older, it may be harder and harder to generate the energy. That those toxins actually interfere with our energy production in each cell, in each mitochondria of each cell. So the key is to make energy, and then our body gets to choose what it uses it for. Whether it's to heal something, or go hiking, or travel, or whatever, or create.
Actually, I've heard that 50% of the energy produced in the mitochondria of the cell, each cell, is used to maintain the cell membrane. And then what's left over, the organism can use. And so it's, if you can't go hiking today, it may be because your energy is being used to fight a cold or to digest your foods and whatever, and doesn't have enough for the extras. So yeah. So the Labrys Healthcare Circle, I called it that because I wanted there to be a whole group of us. And we now have quite a number of us here, actually. We have found that our clients reverse their diseases and feel better all the time. We're kind of grown used to that, but we're, thanks to Roke, we're stepping out away from our clinic and getting out into the community to tell you about what it is that we do, because we think it's pretty wonderful and we want to share what and why. And it seems like this would be a good place in the Wellness Club to find some people who might be interested in this approach. We call it Optimal Wellness, the program that we're just starting last year, actually, and this year, because the why Optimal Wellness program is different from other healthcare concepts is that we're based on community and on small groups. So we have groups of up to 8 people meeting for 3 months, and that's coupled with 3 individual sessions with me that involve exam and treatment, and also we look at give it a functional analysis to your blood exam, blood results that you would be bringing in. And part of the program is to get a complete blood analysis, and then a blood test, and then with 4 panels in it, and then a functional analysis of that. And so because it's a group program, not everybody goes for this idea, because you can't really hide your symptoms in a group. We're there to talk about them and to support each other through what the symptoms are, and figure out what the body is saying to the conscious mind through these symptoms. Why is my ankle hurting? Well, which meridians run through there? Okay, well, if you rub it, does it hurt? Does it help? If not, then what else could it be? You know, I mean, we just go through possibilities and then find individual ways perhaps to deal with that at home and learn that stuff. You know, we help you to resolve your health concerns and aid in prevention. And one of the aims is that you not be dependent on doctors, including myself, but that you learn how to take care of yourself better. I've always said that we need to have a first grade primer on how to use the body in school, and then each year another little bit, you know, so that by the time we come out of school, we actually know what this instrument is that we're using and how to take care of it, instead of having a 2-unit course in high school on health, which mine wasn't all that useful. Did you want to talk about the 5 pillars as well?
Well, I also wanted to mention that included in our program are group classes, and the other important thing about, besides not having to repeat myself each time with each person, it helps to have a group together to learn, because I learn things from my students as much as they learn things from me. So that's an aspect of it as well. But also you get group support. When you're in a group of people, it becomes a community. And one of the things that I think we're missing in our society in so many ways is community. You're so lucky to be here to have the various groups and communities you can do here. But for most of us, we live very insular lives. So it's important to have support, not just for ping pong, but maybe also for wellness. So the wellness classes can help to incorporate community into our healing process.
Yeah, it's Roke.
I want to add in here, because I came in as a marketing consultant to Labris about 2 months ago, but now I've become, enrolled in this program that we are talking about. And the reason being, I have not seen such an holistic, approach to my problems. So I always say it's individual care with collective wellness. Imagine going through this struggle that we are having all the time about our health, but with other people who are also going through the same thing. So we have individual care, which is based on science, blood test and then functional medicine and all that's needed. And then we have all the education we need. We are learning all these instruments, Facebook, Twitter, car. These are external instruments. The instrument that we have here, we don't know enough about it. So it feels like I'm so self-empowered by the education that this is how my body works. And for that, there's like 4 group classes. And remember, there's going to be mentorship. You're having a problem, you can call them. To have someone who is available to you to call anytime you want, whenever you have a problem, and then we will have the support groups. We'll have buddy systems that we can check in with if you feel, not feeling inspired to eat what Laura says. We can go to the farmer's market together. So it's like all of us working together to have optimal wellness for ourselves. And I really want her, come on over. Christy just finished the course the last time it happened. And I would love her to share what she felt.
Hi, my name is Christy. I've been working with Joan Margaret for 10 years. And I've been working with Laura Knopf as a result for 10 years, a great supportive environment. I came to the practice about 60 pounds plus. 10 years ago, eating a hamburger, walking up the sidewalk, and I had no idea what I was doing. For 5 to 10 years before that, I was aware that I was in a pre-diabetic state, that I was moving from Syndrome X and I would eventually be moving into diabetes. It was part of my family's history. It's always been something that I thought would be with me forever. And I went through this program. I've been working with Dr. Margaret on these symptoms for 10 years up until, not this last October, the October before. And I went through the pilot series of this program. It completely reversed all of my blood sugar issues, and I no longer deal with those. Now we're moving on to the things that I definitely don't want to be looking at. I'm coming up into 50 right now, and I'm really feeling better than I ever imagined. I had no idea that I would be walking out of my blood sugar symptoms. I am not a person I consider any kind of diabetic issues at all. And I'm really very pleased with a 3-month compression that gave me results I've been looking for with her, one step at a time. But putting all of them together really changed everything for me, changed my metabolism. I'm a completely different person now. And I have to say that moving through this optimal wellness program took me beyond and to a goal I did not think I could achieve and would have been delighted to have surpassed. So here I am today, a very different person. And good luck to you.
And that was thank you, Christy. That was a huge surprise to me as a clinician. I didn't know that compressing what I'd been doing into 3 months would do that, but it has. And so now I understand the value of putting many programs on top of each other, and plus the support group aspect. And that's something that Kathleen and I were talking about, is that we need an ongoing support group about that. Did you want to say?
Well, sure, I'll step in here. I was pre this, so I'm envious because I was one of the guinea pigs that we discovered what to do and how to do it. So I'm really grateful for all that's happened to me. But I'm envious of these people who can go for 3 months and learn and get to a level of health that took me over a year to get to.
Thank you, Kathleen.
Well, thank you for doing that so that we can do this now.
And one of the parts, if I may say, one of the difficult parts about digestion is something called SIBO, small intestine bacterial overgrowth. And it's been pretty much of a mystery for all of medical history as to why some people get better and other people don't when they get whatever might be their good treatment that they're doing for that. And so I hadn't told Rook and Laura that before, but we're going to add to this program support groups so that after the program is over, then you'll have a support group ongoing regarding SIBO. Because it's hecka hard to keep your energy and your motivation going, because it's so important to stay on. Once you find that sweet bunch of food protocol, I don't like to call it a diet, that you're on, and then when you finish your 3 months, it's just so easy to fall off it. And we need support groups to be able to keep us on it and reminding us what it was that we learned in the program and to keep doing it. So Thank you, Kathleen, for that idea. That was great. So the optimal wellness really requires what I call 5 pillars of health. And they are digestion and nutrition and detoxification. And then also movement, and skilled relaxation goes with that. Movement, I call it movement instead of exercise because some of us are so ill that we can't even think the word exercise without getting tired. So I call it movement instead. We each have to start in our movement where our current condition will allow us to be and to go on from there. And set our own goals on that. So I think that's really important. And then the last pillar of health is hormones. And as you can hear, that changes somewhat when we improve the digestion, as we do in this program. But that's primarily pancreas and liver, and there are a lot of other hormones which help coordinate all these aspects of health. And so I'm going to focus on that when I develop it, the second 3-month program that will follow this first one. But we do change some hormones in this first program, and then whatever's left we work on in the second 3 months. Just haven't developed it yet. So in this program we gather data from lab work, as I've mentioned, and also from your history, health history, and list of symptoms, and then we determine the root cause. Now this is really important, to find the cause rather than just trying to get rid of the symptoms. When you get to the cause of a headache or a tummy ache, then you can make a change there, and when the symptoms change, then you can say, aha, the body is telling me this is the direction it wants to go. And, so we use those symptoms. And then we correct the dysfunction, and of course we treat the whole body. And mentoring is a really important part of lifestyle changes, which have got to, each one of us has different ones to change. We're not all the same on that, but we can share with each other what our successes are and what doesn't work also. So the first step toward that, you might be wondering, well, how do I get into this program? Would be to schedule an appointment with me for a 1-hour consultation. And this is an exploratory time together in which we determine whether or not I can help you. Could be that your case is over my head. It could be that it's more than we want to tackle in this program. Or I can tell you, oh yeah, we've done this lots of times, we can handle this. I'd suggest either the individual sessions or the optimal wellness program. So either direction. And for that 1 hour, I'll charge a reduced fee because you've heard this talk and you know what our philosophy is, and if it doesn't work for you, then you already will not be coming to that consultation. So that's how I select people to come to talk with me for an hour. And there will be detailed paperwork, also intake paperwork. There are 2 parts to that hour's time together. One is a wellness evaluation, in which we talk about what's in your paperwork, and then they'll be doing a very brief exam to determine whether you're absorbing your nutrients well. Now this is an allergy elimination technique that I use for this, and comes out of applied kinesiology, which is what a lot of people know about AK, applied kinesiology, is that it's muscle testing. And yes, it is muscle testing, applying what we know of normal anatomy and physiology to determine diagnoses, really. Not diagnoses as medical doctors make, but diagnoses that will tell me what parts of your system are working and are not working, and which ones need to be supported. And ask me questions about it, because I'm sometimes not very clear about what applied kinesiology is, but that's what that is. And then if we both agree that, yes, I can help you in this regard with your complaints, and you agree to go forward, then we can design a plan of action for you. And that's what that hour is about. So I'll just go over it again. We've been putting little bits and pieces together as to what the program consists of. It's 3 months. It's 3 individual sessions with me. It's the blood test and analysis, functional analysis. It's also 5 sessions of physical vascular therapy, which helps get the blood moving and increases energy to the cell. And that's a whole separate talk that actually, was it this group that Chit Von spoke to? So maybe perhaps many of you heard Chit Von Malik speak about the beamer, which is something I use in my practice to reduce pain, increase immune system function, and to get the nutrients in the blood to the cell, get the cell working better, and that's why it gives such a lot of energy. That's usually the first thing people notice when they use the beamer. So there are 5 sessions of that, and then there are the 4 group sessions, and there's a curriculum binder, which is full of the information that Laura and I have selected to help you not only get through the classes, but move beyond into the period of time following the program. And there are 2 wellness guidebooks, one of which Laura wrote, and there are phone consults in between as well.
Okay. Everyone's Guide to Health.
Okay. So this is really why we're so different, I think, than other healthcare models, is because we are based on community, involving the community and creating community. And this is also why we get the results that we get, is because we are working in community. It requires education and one-on-one mentoring, and we use a very systematic approach that's easy to follow. Our goal is independence, that you have independence in your healthcare for the rest of your life. That's our goal, for ourselves and for everyone in our community, actually. There is, of course, a financial investment that people usually ask about, investment in your health. And because Optimal Wellness is based on the groups and a curriculum, as you heard from Kathleen, your investment is just half that, what it would be if you did individual sessions with me. And additionally, it's completed in a quarter the time, approximately, for the same results, approximately. You didn't get the benefit of a support group following, which is why we were talking about adding that. And another question might be, can I help everyone? No, I can't, really. I can accept you into the program if you are able to follow our system, which you've learned a lot about, and want to allow your own healing abilities to flourish, and are willing to learn what those are and let them do their work, right? So if you want more out of life and you're willing to do what we've been describing, then you would be a good participant. And I hope that you sign up with Christy, where is she? There she is, to be on our mailing list. And if you'd like an appointment, you can check with her also. Thank you.
Thank you. So what are we talking about investing in our health? How much is that?
How much is it? Did you turn off the camera?